Polling came out this morning that shows that the Republicans are going to get creamed in the midterms. If this is true, Donald Trump's in deep trouble, as Speaker Hakeem Jefferies and Leader Chuck Schumer are going to do everything they can to impeach him. But what will they also do? Let's break it down. So the betting markets are now showing that there's a 50-50 shot, and we're losing momentum, that the Republicans keep their Senate majority. I think we can all agree that John Thune has done absolutely nothing with his majority, and if this does hold true, I think we all should get used to saying hello to Chuck Schumer, as he will be the new leader of the Senate. But it gets worse. Another betting market, Polymarket in this instance, is saying that there very well may be a sweep. As of this morning, there's a 53% chance on the betting markets that the Democrats will take both the Senate and the House. So again, get used to saying hello to Speaker Hakeem Jefferies. Now let's all agree before we move on. If this is the case, obviously Donald Trump is a lame duck at that point. And if this is the case, then Donald Trump's clearly going to get impeached. They'll do it again and again and again till one sticks. This is what we have to look forward to, all because Mike Johnson in the House and John Thune in the Senate did nothing with the majorities that we handed them. But you may ask, why is this such a significant push? And we'll take the Iran war and that topic off the table for a minute. I have, I think, a compelling argument that you'll start to see develop. First, let's kind of take a step back to election night and the election polls, or the exit polls, on what the biggest issues were for the Republicans in the 24 election. Let's have a listen.
7 o'clock, usually early on, people are trying to find ways to keep you interested. But Virginia and Vermont really do matter, and they close, so we're going to be getting more information than usual, even though we have so many states left to go. So, Connell, when you're looking at it, what do we know so far in terms of why they're coming out to vote today?
Well, we have our own exit polling data from our friends at DDHQ, so let's go through some of this, and you can tell me what stands out to you guys. On the Democratic side, the Republican side, what are the big issues? So it's close for Democrats. So you look at abortion and the economy, the top two issues there, 27 to 25%. Everything else is distant, third, fourth, and fifth. If we switch over to the right side of the Republican side, far and away, we'll get into this in more detail throughout the night, that immigration has been the issue at 44%. The economy.
There's no question it's far and away. And remember, I'm going to go back to this chart. You can start to see where this compression took place both on the Kalshi betting markets and the Polymarket. You can see again right in the middle of the chart that there was a significant push to the Democrats' advantage. The question is, what was going on there? This was during ICE's raids and their activities that were getting mainstream coverage. And the Democrats were using that propaganda in the mainstream media to get in front of the populace, the voting public, and talk about how mean Donald Trump is. This is all the Minneapolis protests. They were effective. This also goes back to Los Angeles. As you recall, ICE was active there. So what ultimately took place is that we, the Republicans, lost control of the narrative that drove voter output towards the Republicans and Donald Trump in 2024. But it gets worse. Now we're starting to see talk of this thing, and you've probably heard it, called the Dignity Act. This is being pressed and pushed by people like Republican Congresswoman Representative Maria Salazar from South Florida. The Dignity Act, if you look at it, no question, is an amnesty play. She's sitting here trying to position that it's not. But when you start to have Republicans waffling on the main issue that drove turnout, i.e. closing the borders and getting the folks that are here undocumented out of our country and therefore out of our next election cycle, well, that's critical. And people like Representative Salazar are undermining that. The Dignity Act is a bipartisan act that's getting traction right now. And quite honestly, we'll break it down, but it doesn't take long to start to see that, oh, if you've been here for just a little bit of time and you're not really a criminal, well, then we can build you a pathway. That's not what we voted for. That's not what the Americans in this poll, in the exit polling, wanted. 44% of the Americans that voted Republican in 24 had immigration as the lead issue. And now again, we have Representative Salazar putting an amnesty play in front of voters. We'll say that. But it gets worse. Now we have some footage. And this is Byron Donalds, one of the golden children of Donald Trump, who's now looking to replace Ron DeSantis as governor in Florida. Listen to what he has to say. And this clip is in contrast to every single commercial that he's playing for his pending governorship, where he's hard on the border and hard on immigration. Not so fast, Byron.
Modernize a lot of these different visa programs. Do all that work. Do it. Get it done. And I think the American people, whether you're liberal or conservative, will say, okay, now that our immigration system is sound and modernized and we've secured our country, now...
These are key words, by the way, and he's going to continue them. Sound and modernized. Doesn't need to be modernized. There was nothing wrong with the federal law. The only thing that was wrong with the federal law is that we weren't following it. But now it's sound and modernized, according to the golden child, Byron Donalds.
Now let's take a look at the people who are here illegally. And I think the American people, we're great people. We're a good people. We're a beneficent people. And with those people who are here working hard, doing those things that they should be doing as just as good neighbors and good people, we would make them and put them on this pathway to citizenship. But
again, listen to what Byron Donalds is saying. He positions himself as a MAGA Republican and as a conservative. These are left talking points. This is what you would expect AOC to say. This is what you'd expect Chuck Schumer to say, or Hakeem Jefferies. Now our own are championing these talking points. This is why we're going to get demolished.
I think the pathway to actually fixing immigration in our country is possible, but we have to have honest conversations with ourselves. We got to have honest brokers, frankly, on both sides of the aisle, because we can come to a solution.
Again, what solution, Byron, are you looking for? You sit here and posit that any conversation or any broker before your little interview was not honest. Oh, we could have honest brokers now and find solutions. The American people made it clear, Byron, and you're on the wrong side of the issue.
That actually respects citizenship in our country and actually creates a stable legal immigration process in our country. Modernize a lot of these different visa programs.
So again, Byron Donalds and his team are trying to bury this because this flies in the face of what all of us in Macedonia want. Byron, you have a lot of explaining to do. Maria Salazar, I don't even know what this slop is. The Dignity app is amnesty, and it doesn't take that long to figure it out. So Salazar, you're trash. Now, I'm going to conclude with this. Let's start to now prognosticate with our crystal balls on what will happen when we get leader Chuck Schumer and Speaker Hakeem Jefferies. Well, I think this summarizes it. There absolutely will be a crackdown on social media free speech. There will absolutely be mass amnesty, potentially 30 million plus people that we were not allowed to get out of the country because of the legal tactics, because of the slop that Salazar's throwing up, and because, quite frankly, Mike Johnson took too long with the Save America Act, and now John Thune is doing nothing with it. So our elections are totally at the will of the Democrat Progressive Party because we did nothing with our majorities. So mass amnesty, isn't that nice? End the filibuster and packing SCOTUS. Absolutely. We know that both Chuck and Nancy have been on the record, as well as other Democrats, saying that this is exactly what they're going to do when they get control. Nationwide mail-in ballots and no voter ID requirements. Guys, this is the end of the republic. We finally were able to get Republican majorities in the House and the Senate, and we did nothing with it. Nothing. To the point where you now have this cherished independent vote, right, that is no longer going to go out for the midterms. They're not going to vote, in my opinion, for Republicans or Democrats. They're just not going to vote. That's what's going to happen. You're going to have low voter turnout because, again, the Republicans are completely losing momentum. 52 states now, which means that there's going to be more Senate seats at play, as well as representatives seats in Congress, both D.C. and Puerto Rico. Abolish the Electoral College because they think that it's unfair. They want us no longer to be a representative republic. They want it to be on popular vote. Question is why? Well, it's obvious. Because when you control the population centers that are on both coasts, you win. That means Kansas no longer matters. Iowa no longer matters. There's no other strategic reason for being against the Electoral College and for a popular vote tactic other than, again, thinking that you're a bicoastal elite and that you're going to drive the elections. And then lastly, and we saw this under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, they're absolutely going to have MAGA arrests, debanking, everything that they were trying to do with normal everyday citizens that just disagreed with them. This is where we are, and this is why this chart is critical. It's critical, and it's sad because we did what we were asked to do. We put the majority into the House and the majority into the Senate and Donald Trump into the White House. And what did each one of them, Trump included, do? They got distracted from the issues that we put them in for, and now we have this, a big problem. So the question is, as we go down third base here, is what are some of the things that we can do to get traction and to stop this momentum of the Democrats? Because I do believe this to be true. You and I can sit here and debate that it's not exactly 53%. Fine. I don't care. I'm saying that we've lost momentum. And if we lose it more, we're going to lose our majority seats. So the question is, what can we do? We have to get back, folks, to America First principles. We are so incredibly distracted. And when you look at these issues, immigration, economy, abortion, crime, foreign policy, let's go through this. Actually, we'll do a quick exercise. What grade would you give Donald Trump and the Republican Party, not just him, on immigration? Give a B-. That's my grade. What about the economy? I'd give a C-, D+. I'm not certain that we've got a firm control on inflation, a firm control on some of the investments that are taking time to offset the tariff differential. Abortion, I think he's done what he needs to do. He kicked it to the states, so we'll move on from that. Crime, I'd give him a B to a B+. I think they've done a nice job, but I also don't think, and this is lumped in with crime, that Pam Bondi or Kash Patel have done anything remotely close to what we were expecting them to do. So, again, Donald Trump and Tom Homan, they're driving that higher grade of a B or B+ on crime. I think the real authority figures in the DOJ and the FBI, I think they've totally get an F. Foreign policy, this is where we are with the Iran war. Right? You have a huge bifurcation now between the America First crew, the MAGA crew, the independent voters that voted Republican, all of which those three groups disagree with each other on Donald Trump going to war past what he did in June with just bombing the nuclear facilities. This is a big deal, folks, and this is what we're looking at. This list is what we're going to be looking at with Speaker Jefferies and leader Chuck Schumer. Absolutely. If you disagree with this, I'm curious. But if you don't, if you look at this list, you tell me in the comments, tell me in a sentence, how does the country recover? I would argue they won't. When the filibuster is gone, when the SCOTUS is packed, when you have 30 million new voters because mass amnesty, we're done. This is it. And then when you take all safeguards off of voting, it's over. It's over. There are officially more takers than givers in the country, and there are more people that offset your singular vote than you possibly have friends to be able to offset 30 million people that just got, imported into your voting district. It's over, folks. Donald Trump, he's toast. He's absolutely toast if we lose the House and if we lose the Senate. They're going to impeach him. That's where we are with the latest on the betting markets and with the latest on what I believe is one of the major causal factors on why the Republicans are losing momentum going into the midterms. I'm curious what you think. Tell me where I'm wrong. Comments are wide open. So if I'm wrong on any of this, hit me. Tell me I'm wrong. Make fun of me. I don't care. But this is critical. And if we don't stop this, we only have 10 months left. If we don't stop this, we're in deep trouble. If you've yet to subscribe to America First Alerts, please do so. And the very next story is fascinating. We just learned some of the secret technology that was used to identify not only the person, but the location of the downed pilot, the F-15 pilots, actually, in Iran over the weekend. I give you all of the details of this declassified technology. It's fascinating, and that's in the video that's coming up next. Have a look.